All right. I'm gonna have this right here. I guess we. Okay. All right. I'm live. We live on 2 channels right now. Uh-oh. And I'm knocking over stuff.
It's okay. It's okay.
Woo! Can y'all see me? I wonder if I should move. Maybe because your screen is just so beautiful. Dang, I like that screen. This screen got me feeling like, you know.
I just upgraded, y'all. It was a little low budget before, but I just got the upgrade.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Well, we are live with Monya Essence. That's your tag name of Copper Vibrations.
Yes.
You got the brother over here, CQ.
It's actually my legal assumed name.
Oh, it is?
Yes, I went downtown.
Oh, really?
And made it official.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, we with the official Monya Essence.
Yes, ma'am.
Of Copper Vibrations. Those of you who are familiar with the Copper Vibrations team, you know they do some amazing work, some amazing jewelry, and they're going to get back to their live jewelry making very, very soon because their crew is like, okay, where our live videos
We've been on
at?
vacation, y'all. Like, but not vacation, not going nowhere. Vacation still working for y'all, but we've been on vacation. But we are coming back tomorrow because we got mega pieces of Moldavite, and we know y'all want this Moldavite, okay?
Oh,
we got big pieces, not little itty bitty pieces. We got some big pieces of Moldavite for y'all. So, come on back tomorrow, but stay with us tonight. Hang out with us. Go ahead and click share on this live as Miss Tonya Poole do her thing.
Yes. So right now, for those of you who don't know, my name is Tonya Poole from TonyaPoole.com, and I am the author of The Magic of Self-Love, and I also have created the Magic of Me Intuitive Natal Chart Reading. And so these readings, I always say that readings are a mirror to show you who you are, to reflect back to you, yourself. Because you can't see yourself sometimes. You can't see what's going on. But a true natal chart reading will help you to see who you are. And so the Magic of Me natal chart reading right now is on sale for only $99. It is usually $150, and you're about to see why it's usually $150. Because I'm going to do this reading with the lovely Monya, and she gave me her information a few days ago so that I can kind of look at her chart and get a feel of who she is based on the energies and where the planets were at the time of her birth. So I always tell people this disclaimer, and it's going to be on your printout when you get it at the very top. A lot of times people think that a natal chart reading is like, okay, if I keep knocking over my own cup, I keep knocking it over. A lot of times people think that a natal chart reading is something that, you know, they're afraid that they will have a bad chart. Right. You know, like, oh, my planets are not aligned properly, or they're crossed, or I'm messed up, or I'm just messed up because I'm a Sagittarius, or I'm just messed up because I'm an Aquarius, or whatever, you know what I mean? But really, the planets that, the way that your chart is set up is actually a blessing. You chose, in my opinion, you chose to come into this world with these particular energies. Mm-hmm. With these particular planets in this configuration. And so the planets in the astrological world does not govern you so much as you can use them as tools to govern your own life. All right, so that is what I always tell people. There's no such thing as a bad chart. There's only a chart that is uncultivated and unnurtured.
They say that before they get ready to tell you something crucial. He be like, it's not bad, baby.
It's not bad, but
let me tell you, girl.
Let me tell you about you.
You got this.
This wrong with you, that wrong with you.
They said she excites you so much, you be beaming. Oh, you excite me. You make me beam.
She makes me beam. I don't know if I'm doing this right, and you know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna start going live every single day.
Mm-hmm. Why
I'm sorry, that's
right?
sidebar. That's the whole
sidebar
conversation. Because I already ended my live. I'm a Virgo, y'all. Okay, so this is Virgoism all happening right now. Like, is it right? Is it perfect? I ain't doing it right. Wait, quit, stop. Cause you gotta do it right there. Okay, all right. So yeah, so your chart, you know, there's only unnurtured and uncultivated charts. There is no such thing as a bad chart. All right. Okay. So But you are responsible for the information that you receive once you are aware of what's in your chart. All right? So, as what I did when you gave me your information, I just kind of sat with it. And when I do natal readings, I just kind of sit with people's charts for a minute, because a lot of times people think it's just the astrologer is just telling you your sun is in this sign, your moon is in this sign, Mercury's in this sign, on down the line. Every chart that I do is different, because it's based on what I feel. This is the intuitive part of your chart. It's what I feel your chart wants me to reveal to you. Okay. So, you know, anybody can Google where their sun is, where their moon is. I mean, you don't need an astrologer to do that. But you do need somebody who can really feel the energy of your own astrological makeup and really come back to you and say, okay, this is what is speaking most strongly to me right now. Okay. Also, with the natal chart, it's a living document.
I already see some different stuff that I ain't even seen before.
and this is just me, like,
I was thought I was a cancer, but I'm seeing this.
Oh no! I'm glad you said that. No, that was wrong. This is you.
Okay,
this is
okay.
You. This is you.
I was about to say I got sun and Scorpio.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, my husband don't think that. Like, her son is not in Scorpio.
Y'all might have some fun. Look, you might have some fun if your son is Scorpio, but then it might end in murder.
I know. You be feeling pleasure. Then you got to ice them.
It be fun for a little while. Till we see y'all on the news. Like, what happened over there?
I know. Oh yeah, I ain't getting murdered.
He like, nah, you ain't getting me. But so, did you ever give out that book? The book? I bought your book for a giveaway.
Oh no, I didn't. I need to give somebody my book tonight.
All right. So tonight, it was just a free giveaway, so I hate to change the rules.
You can change it.
All right, so whoever goes to my website, TonyaPoole.com, TonyaPoole, the first person to go there and book the Magic of Me Intuitive Natal Chart reading while it's on sale will also get a free copy of Monier's book, Queen Me. Get a free copy.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to be looking, and you got to leave a note to say Copper Vibrations or something, so I know that, you know, that was you.
Give me my book.
Give me my book. So whoever goes to TonyaPoole.com first and gets the Magic of Me Natal Chart reading while it's on
only
sale.
$99.
Only $99.
I've never seen an astrological reading for $99.
And let me tell you, the more I do them, I understand why people charge $200 and $300. Because when a good astrologer can really tell you about you and help you, that's life-changing.
Yes.
And so what I was actually saying a minute ago is that your natal chart is a living document. So, for example, like right now we're in Sagittarius season. So it would behoove of you to look at where planets are for you in the sign of Sagittarius. Like you have Neptune in Sagittarius. So this is the time. This is a great time for you. Neptune is the planet of imaginations and dreams and fantasy and out of work. You've probably been dreaming like crazy, really, like for real. So every Sagittarius season, even though you are a Cancer sun sign, every Sagittarius season, that's the time for you to go deep in your imagination.
Wow.
Dream up, dream big, like dream. And what's really good about, we're already in the reading now.
We in there.
We already in the reading.
Jump on in.
We're gonna jump on in. What's really good for you having a planet like Neptune in Sagittarius is that this is the time of year where people are beginning to plan their upcoming year. So this is a good time. How this planet works for you is that this is a good time to really look at the dreams that you have for the upcoming year.
Wow.
To just put no limits on your your dreams. Like, don't say, well, I want to do this, but, I can't, Neptune is all about fantasy. Neptune is like anybody who has written like any of those like fantasy books or, Lord of the Rings or, just something that's really, that's Neptune energy. Like to just think out of the box, to think about everything that seems impossible or outrageous, that is Neptune. Neptune is otherworldly, basically. So Neptune is that energy. Neptune's natural ruler is Pisces. So it's pulling in what is from the spirit realm. It's helping you to see what's in the spirit realm. Now, how you make that physically manifest is up to you. But, nothing is impossible in the spirit realm.
Right,
you can think, I want a two-headed dragon that got wings that wears copper vibrations jewelry. Oh, okay. Well, Neptune says,
two-headed dragon.
That's possible. Anything is possible with Neptune. So, yeah, I'm glad I looked at that just now because we are in Sagittarius season. And so, yeah, so that's really important. So, you have what really stood out to me. Obviously, looking at your chart, is seeing a sun in the sign of Cancer, moon in the sign of Cancer, Mercury in the sign of Cancer. You have 3 planets, major planets in the sign of Cancer. But before I get there, because I know that's really standing out. But before I step there, I want to talk actually about Virgo for you. Virgo, in astrology, Western astrology has 12 houses, and each house has a different energy to it, a different purpose. And so the first house in astrology is your identity, how you identify. The key words for the first house in astrology are I am. So if you say, I am a woman, I am black, I am an entrepreneur, whatever, I'm smart, I'm stupid, I'm fat, I'm ugly, whatever you say about yourself or however you identify is all in that first house. I'm talking about the first house for you because the first house in your chart is in the sign of Virgo.
Wow. Now, I did not know that.
Yes. So, how you identify or what you need in order to have some sort of sanity in your identity, if this makes sense, is the energy of Virgo. So Virgo's energy is very analytical. Virgo's energy is very organized. Virgo's energy is trying to find the rules and adhere to them, right? Not only is your first house in the sign of Virgo, the reason why I'm talking about this first house for you is because you have Saturn there. So for those of you watching and for you, because it's your chart, Saturn is the planet of responsibility. Saturn is the planet that blesses you for doing the work. Saturn is the planet of no pain, no gain. Saturn is the planet of, oh, you ain't going to do the work? Well, I don't know why you expect to get the rewards. So to have Saturn in your first house in the sign of Virgo means that the rewards that you are seeking in life require you to have order in chaos, basically. Whenever things are too chaotic for you, that Saturn energy is like, you need to get this together if you expect to do better. Like, Saturn, some people are afraid of Saturn energy because they feel like it's a...
Yeah, I'm listening.
They're afraid of Saturn's energy because Saturn, it's the natural ruler of Capricorn, is the disciplinarian. It's the disciplinarian planet. It's like, Saturn is like cracking that whip, So to have Saturn in your first house, it means you're always going to have to take responsibility for your actions, because the first house also deals with your actions, how you take actions based on your identity, how you see yourself. So you're always going to have to check in with, how do I see myself? How do I identify? Who is Monier? And am I being responsible to who I say I am. And if you're not, that Saturn disciplinarian planet is always like, oh, you say that you want, let's just say, I'm just throwing something out there. You say you want this level of success. Are you doing the work to get there? Are you really doing what you say you're supposed to do to get to what you say you want? Or are you only saying, I am? You know,
Girl, I feel like I'm doing the work.
Yeah.
God knows, I feel like I'm doing the work and some.
So Saturn, and the good thing about Saturn is that it's always about structure. It likes structure.
Yes.
So the energy of Saturn is
structure.
not all over the place. You know what I mean? It's not about just work. It's about strategic work. Strategic action. Like, this is my goal, and these are my 10 steps to get there. And with it being in the sign of Virgo, which is about another sign of structure, which is about...
and I always run from structure.
And I'm going to get to that later on, because
Okay. I need structure. I know that I need structure. And what's really interesting about the structure component is prison was one of the best things that happened for me. And a lot of people really didn't understand when I was incarcerated. So for those of you who didn't know, I was incarcerated for 6 years. And during that time, that period of incarceration, I grew by leaps and bounds. I'm talking about just as an individual person, the structure afforded me the space. The structure and the accountability afforded me the space to blossom even further into the woman that I am now. So, like, before prison, yeah, I was good. I was smart. I was intelligent. But I was street. I was real street. And I excelled. Oh, come on, man. I excelled in the streets, but prison afforded me the opportunity to stop that life and really focus on who I am.
Who you are, yeah.
Focus on the I am, as she's talking about, within that house, and really have me to develop a plan for my future and where I wanted to go within the future. So what may have seemed like a downside was actually a benefit for me, and it showed on my face. I mean, I was a glowing angel when I was there, and people knew and recognized it and felt it in my energy, because I was able to slow down and add that structure to my life. So I was always laughing, always happy, and people didn't understand it.
Wow. In an environment where you wouldn't expect anybody to be smiling and happy or laughing or anything like that. Yeah, because you need structure. You need structure, and what I'm about to talk about now, I usually talk about at the end of my readings, but I just feel like this is where we need to go next, because not only do you have Virgo in your first house and Saturn is there, which again is the disciplinarian, which is going to make sure, you know, that because Virgo deals with your daily habits that lead to the big goals. So that means you have to have structure in your day to day. Virgo is micro. So it's like, it's looking at, okay, you know, are you being structured in your day to day? Virgo governs your habits. So do you have, what are your daily habits? Like, do you have a habit of,
no habits,
you know, waking up and drinking water first thing?
No habits.
Or drinking coffee every, you know, because
I have zero habits.
So Virgo, but you probably do, and you don't realize that you do, because habits run on the subconscious. So it's probably things that you.
I mean, we wake up and decide what we're going to do with our day. The habit is not having a habit, but it's a habit within inside of it.
Yeah, so because it's like, if you look over your days, what do you habitually do or habitually say or habitually think? Virgo is kind of governing your day-to-day habits. And if you don't have conscious, beneficial habits that you're constantly doing every day, I would encourage you to create them because of where Virgo is in your chart.
Yeah,
Virgo also
yawning
rules.
every time you go live.
You say yawning every time?
I didn't yawn tonight.
Yeah, because you weren't selling nothing. It's a
You'll be
habit.
on it tomorrow.
I know. Tomorrow, I'm like, I see
It's
Fury starting again.
It's normally after you say a certain word, like we live, y'all, and you say
You
some
start
things
yawning.
and you start yawning. It's a habit.
So Virgo is also the house of health. So with it being in your first house, with Saturn being there, you have to be disciplined in your health habits. What are you habitually eating? What do you habitually drink? What do you habitually move your body in some kind of way? Because your health is going to be very, very important. And again, that's not a bad thing. It's just that you have to be aware of the connection between your daily habits and your health are closely aligned. And you will have to be responsible for that. With Saturn being there, you will definitely have to be responsible for how are you caring for yourself. Virgo is very physical. So this isn't necessarily emotional or spiritual well-being. This is literally your physical well-being. What do you do on a daily basis to make sure that you have optimal health over the long term?
I know me personally, I'm concerned about my health a lot. And prior to marriage, health was like number one. Now it's kind of like, I kind of settled in the fact that I don't have no issues. I got zero health issues. I don't have no high blood pressure. I don't have no diabetes. I don't have no cholesterol. I'm good. You know what I mean? And I just kind of settled into that space. But from a physical standpoint, my body has taken a toll on my body. I could just feel different aches and pains that hasn't been there before. Specifically in my legs and in my lower back.
Okay.
And so I've been contemplating and thinking about, okay, what are some ways that I could get moving? Because with the business, I sit a lot, way more than I ever did in my entire life. I sit a good majority of my day.
Okay. Yeah. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing because Saturn always thinks about the long term. Saturn's energy is slow moving. Sometimes we don't even see the impact of what we've done with Saturn's energy for a long time. So it's like, okay, so you have to really think about your long term health. Like how do you want to look and feel when you're 80? You know what I mean? As opposed to, right?
I want to be a hot
You
mama.
wanna be a hot granny.
I want to be a hot granny. Drop it like it's hot. No,
So you have to, be thinking about that now and create healthy routines. It doesn't have to be anything major. It doesn't have to be anything like, oh, I go and do yoga 4 times a week every morning at 8 a.m. It doesn't have to be like that. But you have to create it's good for you, I would say, to have small habits, create small habits on a daily basis that lead to long-term health and wellness.
Okay.
Is important for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so what I was going to go into that I normally talk about at the end, but I feel like it's good to talk about now, is because we're already talking about Virgo, there's something called the North Node in astrology. I don't know if you're familiar with that. So the North Node in astrology is where your soul wants to go in this lifetime. Is the almost, to me, it's almost more important than your sun sign.
Wow.
Because the North Node is like, it's like the North Star of your chart. It's like, this is where, if you can get here, you have done well in this lifetime.
Wow.
Your South Node is what you're leaving behind. So your North Node is in the sign of Virgo. Which means your South Node is in its opposite sign of Pisces. So basically what that means, your South Node, everybody's South Node is what they're comfortable with, right? It's your comfort zone. Pisces energy is spiritual and likes to, just float in the spirit and go with it, enjoy and fun and not, doesn't want to have to follow the rules of the world. Like, what are these earthly rules that you speak of? I want to float on. I want to, I want to sing. I want to dance. I want to just do whatever my spirit calls me to do, right? And that's, on one hand, that's good, you know. And Pisces loves the fantasy world, the spiritual world, imagination, and all of that kind of stuff. On its lower energy, though,
Addiction.
Pisces is all about addiction. It's about self-sabotage. It's like, why you keep making the same mistake over and over again? It's about escapism, right? So with that being in your South Node is what you've already mastered. Meaning you already know how to dream big and imagine into spiritual things are probably easy for you. You know what I mean? You can probably flow. Pisces is also the house of religion and beliefs, our beliefs. So you can probably flow with religious things or spiritual topics very, very well. You got that. With your North Node being in Virgo, now you have to apply that in real life. Meaning, Virgo, again, is about having structure and creating routines and discipline and reading the fine print also. Like Pisces just wants to do without being concerned about the details. Virgo is very detail oriented. So with Virgo being your North Node, that means you have to become, it's good for you to become more detail oriented. It's good for you to read the fine print before you make major moves. So that Pisces South Node for you just wants to flow whenever it feels it wants to flow. But Virgo is always going to ask you, okay, but what are the details? You want to do this? Okay, but what's the details? Wow. What does that contract say in the fine print? Wow. You know what I mean? Like literally, like you got to read your, how much money did I really spend this month? That's some Virgo, you know what I mean? Like you might have to create itemized, and it's not about restricting you. It's not about saying, knowing. It's about knowing and a strategy, being aware of what you're doing. You know what I mean? Virgo and Pisces, they're both servants. They're the servants of the zodiac. So Pisces energy wants to serve spiritually. Virgo wants to serve practically. I was just telling somebody recently in another reading that her North Node was opposite of yours. Her North Node was Pisces, so her South Node was Virgo. So she was a super doer. She didn't believe in nothing. You know, I won't say she didn't believe in nothing, but seeing was believing for her. Faith was not, you got to show and prove for her all the time. So the faith aspect was difficult for her. And I use the example of, I always get confused, maybe you can help me, Mary and Martha in the Bible. One of them, when Jesus came, one of them sat at Jesus' feet and was like, oh, he's here, let's learn from him. But her sister was up doing cooking. Martha. So I was like, this is your lifetime to just sit at the feet of any spiritual master and just learn. So I don't want to do that. I want to be doing, you know. You're the opposite. You done already sat at the feet. You the spiritual aspect you already have. You've gotten and continue to get it. But now, how do I serve people in a very practical way? And I know that you're already doing some of this. But how are you taking your spirituality and making it very, very mundane almost? Very, very practical. Very, very earthly. Very material. Making it work in this material world, you know. So North Node and Virgo for you is all about, yes, having discipline. Yes, learning, getting the fine print. Yes, paying attention to the details. Your spirit wants to just float on. It's also about if there's anything that you don't want to face, you can't escape anymore. You can't just retreat. Hey, Nikki, I don't know if you're okay. Hey, girl. Wanting to escape into the spiritual realm is not going to be enough anymore. Like you're always, North Node Virgo is always going to pull you back into reality.
Right.
to face.
It's funny because I remember when I was in the mosque. When I was in the mosque, and you know, like the MGT are always like doing stuff for the people, and they're always like in the kitchen. I'm like, no, I'm trying to hear the lecture. I got my book out. I'm like taking notes. They're like, sis, you're not gonna come help serve? Get the, Is it my duty in the kitchen? No, it ain't my duty in the kitchen this week. Okay, I'm gonna sit right here. And I'm going to listen to the lecture because the minister's out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, yeah, I can see that when I was in the church, you know, Bible study and all of that, I was always the one, like, taking notes and sucking in the information. And I never wanted to be a part of, like, the people who serve or work in the kitchen or help people to their seat and the ushers and all that. I'd be like, no. Like, you don't know usher board.
North Node Virgo is like, but how can you serve in a practical way? It's going to always pull you into service. And so your North Node is not your comfort zone. It's where you're growing to, you know. It's like once you graduated kindergarten and you go to the first grade. Kindergarten, you want to go back to kindergarten because it's fun. It's fun over here. My ABC, got to take a nap, get snack time and everything. But your North Node is like, but you graduated from that. And it's great to still do that. It's your North Node is always the flip coin of what your South Node is. So you've mastered a lot of that spiritual stuff. And if it, like a kid that stays in kindergarten too long, what happens is even the good that they learned in kindergarten now becomes detrimental to them because you've outgrown that. And so that's when you can go into the lower energy of Pisces stuff like self-sabotaging and, you know, people can go into addictions or escapism. They don't want to deal with reality because reality is, I don't want to deal with people and rules and regulations. You know what I mean?
I hate
rules. Yeah. But you can create the rules. Virgo is like, okay.
Like, why we gotta have rules? Why can't we just govern ourselves? Like, you know what's right and wrong. Why somebody gotta spell it out for you in black and white?
Well,
do not.
If you know what, then you can create your own rules within those parameters. If that helps you, I always try to find a creative way to help people. You know, it's like, okay, oh man, I don't want to. You know, I was watching this video recently of Queen Afua from who wrote Sacred Woman, and she has this video of her hula hooping, and she's like 65 years old, right? She's like, look, I'm hula hooping, keeping my all of this, you know, in shape and tone. And she said, you know, people think that working out has to be this difficult thing, right? Or it's got to be it's a form of punishment. Make it fun. So that's what I tell people with their North Node. Make it fun. Like every month, just sit down and just itemize. Oh, I just want to know how much money I spent on food this month. I mean, I know it's something real trivial. I'm just throwing something out there. Why?
No,
just to make it, you know, just to make creating rules for yourself fun. Make creating routines for yourself fun. Like, oh, okay, every morning I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna just shake. I don't know, right? Then that becomes a routine for you, and really. A habit, and that is actually how you'll grow to the next level in the spirit, because you're creating corresponding physical actions that connect to your spiritual self.
Okay.
So whatever you do, whatever fulfills you spiritually, create a physical habit that matches it. Maybe that'll help you.
Okay. Yes, baby. I like it.
Yep. So, all right, so we're going to go back to all of that Cancer energy. And really what really stood out to me with all of the Cancer in your chart, again, you have Sun in Cancer, Moon in Cancer, Mercury in Cancer. But what's really interesting to me, when I look at your chart, if you, any of you who have seen an astrology wheel, it looks like a wheel. The actual chart looks like a wheel. And everything on the top of the chart is above the horizon. It's what anybody with a telescope could have seen the night or the day that you were born. Anything that's underneath that wheel is what was invisible at the time. So it's hidden. You can't really see it. Almost all of your planets are above the horizon, which means for me, looking at this as an astrologer, even though Cancer, for example, likes to hide their feelings, they tend to, until y'all erupt in anger or an emotional outburst. But for the most part, Cancers like to be like shielded, right? because y'all are the nurturers of the zodiac. So the sign of Cancer is the crab. The crab, if you look at the crab, it's got this hard shell, right? You got to have a tool to crack that shell. But inside that shell's that soft little meat, you know? That is Cancer. Y'all have this hard shell, and not that y'all are aggressive or mean. I don't mean a hard shell in that way, but because Cancer is the nurturer of the zodiac and also the protector, right? So Cancer sign in traditional religion,
you gonna get that work.
Exactly. See, is Yemoja, the ocean. You know what I mean? That the goddess, the Orisha Yemoja, she likes the ocean.
That's
I got that written
girl,
in here.
You want to talk about changing my life?
You have to stay by water. I have that written up for you, and my suggestions for you is to make regular trips to bodies of water. Drink plenty of water. A lot of people think that they pour, like when they pour libation to their ancestors, or maybe you go to the ocean and give an offering to Yemoja, to the ocean, but that water is within you. So when you drink plenty of water, when you're feeding that energy within you, that nurturing energy within you. That's a routine that you can create. Going back to that Virgo, and
I got to get water in my life.
Okay, I'm gonna drink some hot lemon water every morning.
It don't make no sense.
And you can't. All this Cancer energy in your chart, you cannot be dehydrated especially because for you, Cancer again is above the horizon, above the realm, as I'm calling it. So that means you're pouring more of it out than the average Cancer person. So some people another person who maybe have a sun in Cancer, who maybe doesn't serve the community the way that you do, they can preserve themselves longer because they're not pouring out that emotional self. They're not pouring out that nurturing and that love and that protection that you do. So it would behoove you to drink plenty of water. Like you will have to probably drink more water than other Cancerians. I would actually encourage all Cancerians to do it, because any Cancers in the building, y'all all love in a protective kind of way.
Where my Cancers at? If you're a Cancer, drop a crab in the comments.
Right. So again, Cancer, all of your Cancer is above the horizon. Your Cancer sun is in the 10th house. The 10th house deals with career. It deals with long-term goals. It deals with your reputation. It deals with rules and regulations that lead you to long-term success. All of that kind of stuff. So with the Cancer sun in the 10th house, more than likely your career is connected to your ability to nurture. Again, why you have to regularly get around water, regularly drink plenty of water, because you're constantly pouring water out. You're with a Cancer in the 10th house, that means you will go the distance to love and nurture and protect others. Like that is a part of who you are. The 10th house, I tell people all the time when I'm doing charts, the 10th house is the house of your fame, what you become known for. But it's also, on its lower energy, is the house of infamy. So for example, if I say O.J. Simpson, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For the average person, don't get too deep. You know what comes to your mind if I say O.J. Simpson, right? For the average, nobody will remember he was in Roots.
No.
Nobody. If you go back and watch the first episode, before Kunta got sold in Africa, he's in the first episode of Roots. Nobody remember that. Very few people even remember his football career. I mean, if anything, they might. But
won the Heisman.
Yeah, I think so. But that's not what he will be known for.
He's the juice.
His fame, the juice. His fame has become infamous.
Wow.
So when you don't properly manage your 10th house, what can be your fame can become your infamy, right? So you've got a Cancer sun in the 10th house. That means, yes, you're known for love, loving, nurturing, caring, protecting. That's why you got that hard shell, so you can protect those that you want to nurture. You know, when you don't manage that, then that's where the emotional floodgates can open in a negative way. And then you could be known for, oh, she be popping off all the time. Now that's that sister shit. You know, you could be known for the
Peter Papa.
Peter Papa. You know, so you have to balance that there. What's so interesting is that, which I think is good for you, you also have Venus in the 10th house. You have two signs occurring in your 10th house, Cancer and Gemini. Venus is in the Gemini part of the 10th house. And your Cancer sun is right next to it. But they're both in the house of your career, your fame, your reputation, and all that kind of stuff. So this Venus energy, and Venus is the planet of love and beauty and attraction and law of attraction and, you know, and all of those sorts of things. So Venus in the sign of Gemini, fast-moving, quick talking Gemini, I know why you like to talk. I know why when you get in front of the camera, you can really talk. With it being in your 10th house, you will probably make the most of your money from what comes out of your mouth.
Throat chakra.
Throat chakra. Throat chakra energy. Because it's in your 10th house. You have to be around Venus and Gemini can be very social. It can add to that social part. And actually having a Venus and Gemini helped me also to understand why you fell in love with an Aquarius. Because Gemini and Aquarius are actually compatible. They're both air signs. So your love ability is more air. And exactly. So with Venus in the 10th house, your love is always connected to your career. And you can't have a partner that is contradictory to your ability to make money. Period. So this was a good choice.
Yes, babe, you was a good choice. That's right, CK.
Never forget it.
Never forget. We got it on tape now. Look, from now on, you can rewind the tape.
I'll piss a Cancer off, but I get it.
So underneath all of that, yes, because you got all that Cancer energy, yet he's going to get that Cancer side of you behind closed doors. Good or bad. You know, I'm not saying it's all just the emotional part. But you
the nurturing and the ripping.
Exactly. You're going to get both sides of that Cancer energy. But, you know, that Venus and Gemini up there with it is what I encourage you to, obviously I'm not here in y'all's love life, but have good conversations. You need good conversation.
I need it.
And if you don't have it, you will become bored. Because Gemini bores easily. Gemini needs stimulation. You know what I mean? So you have to find new things to talk about all the time. You know, new things to build with together. Just converse. Sometimes it's not even going anywhere.
Right.
Gemini energy and Gemini people.
Talkative.
Shout out if you a Gemini.
My BFF is a Gemini. That girl can talk. That's a talking child. I ain't never met nobody who can out talk me.
And so
she don't let you get a breath in. Girl, I be like, breathe, girl, just breathe, slow down and breathe.
They like to talk, but they also
and they're so inquisitive.
And Gemini just likes to know. Just likes information. Not even necessarily to do anything with it. It's just they just like to be in the know. Yeah. Okay, so always, stimulate your love energy and your attraction energy is stimulated by knowledge. So you have to constantly be learning new things. Get around people who are not like you sometimes. You may just have to be around different people because Venus and Gemini is social. So you like to meet different people, meet new people, and just have a random conversation, about nothing, and so, so that Cancer sun is sitting right next to Gemini, Venus in the 10th house, dealing with your career. What's very interesting for you is that this moon and Mercury in Cancer, they're also in Cancer just like your sun, but they're slightly over into the 11th house. Mm-hmm. So the 11th house is about society. It's about how you connect to the community, how you connect to the world. Mm-hmm. Its natural ruler is Aquarius. Mm-hmm. Okay, so to have a moon and Mercury there, you are emotionally connected to community, because the moon deals with your emotional needs as well as your moods. Mm-hmm. So you can have a Cancer moon somewhere else and you would be more private. Mm-hmm. But with it being, again, above the horizon and in the 11th house, which is how you deal with humanity, you have an emotional need to nurture however you define humanity or however you define community. Whatever that means to you, you have an emotional need to love and nurture and protect your community. With your moon being there, though, if that community, especially with you having a Cancer moon, if you don't feel that they appreciate the love and nurturing that you give, that can really hurt you on an emotional level. So the 11th house is naturally ruled by Aquarius. A true Aquarius may not be fazed by that. But because for you, the 11th house was in the sign of Cancer, you are emotionally tied to your community, however you define that. And so it's very important that, what did I put here? You have an emotional need to nurture. You may relate to community in a nurturing way, but how you want to nurture may sometimes be in a way that others aren't ready for yet. The 11th house is also the house of the visionary. So you can find times where you can see what another person needs. Like you can look at other people's lives and see, I already see a year from now, if she's on this path, she's going to need X, Y, and Z. Having a Cancer moon there, you want to provide it. You want to nurture them. You want to get them there. But if that person can't, they're not the visionary that you are. So they can't see the love that you're pouring into them in that moment. And if they can't see it, they can't appreciate it. And if they can't appreciate it, that can hurt you on an emotional level. So you have to, in this way, almost adopt the standpoint of an Aquarius that can detach a little bit from that. Because the love that you pour out and the nurturing that you give, some people won't even realize it till 5, 6, 7 years later. Because that Cancer moon for you in the 11th house is in the house of the visionary. So you're not even supposed to see the benefit of what you're doing in this moment. It comes later. So when you feel an emotional tie with something that community or other people do, and the 11th house is not necessarily close family a lot of times. A lot of times it's like, the world at large. So whatever that means for you, if you don't feel, you're not going to get your emotional fulfillment right away. With a Cancer moon right there. But Cancer moon wants to feel appreciated.
To be loved and appreciated.
Loved and appreciated.
I want y'all to love me and appreciate me. Appreciate me.
Yes. And some people will immediately. And then sometimes.
Some people said, I remember that 10 years from now. I'll think about, CQ used to.
And they'll come back later on. Right.
Like, thank you, CQ.
Right, exactly. And it's like because because Cancer has a very motherly emotion, think about what the mother has to do when her child gets a certain age and moves on. You know, it's like, that's still your baby, but you gotta kind of release it. So this Cancer moon, you'll probably always have that, but you know, I poured into you, but I gotta release you. You know what I mean? But I gave from my heart to you. But you're gonna leave me now, or you're going to go out into the world, or you know. So you have to kind of keep that in mind all the time with your moon in the 11th house. Also, Mercury there in Cancer in the 11th house. I wrote on here, communicate. Oh, Mercury is the communicator of the zodiac, as a communication planet. It's it's your intellect. It's how you talk, how you speak, how you self-express. With it being in the sign of Cancer, you express out of your emotions, basically.
No, really?
For real.
I ain't believe it.
You express how you feel, which is really great. Really great. Until it's just emotion and the person that you're expressing it to doesn't know where we're going with this.
You don't know nothing about that, do you?
I always know.
That Aquarius, y'all.
Aquarius, I swear, I just can't take it.
When you're having, when you're expressing your emotion, always keep the goal in mind. Now, you're always going to want, as a Cancer, a Mercury in the sign of Cancer, I'm not even going to ask you to not express emotionally. That would be foolish of me. You know what I mean? That would be crazy. But when you want to actually create change, when you really need a specific outcome, you've got to communicate that very, very clearly. And you have the power to do that because Mercury is the planet of communication. So Mercury is trying to encourage you, is trying to help you to be like, okay, but clearly express your desired outcome. Not just how you feel about what didn't happen or how you felt it should have happened. You got to clearly express what you want. So when you're in emotional mode, whether good emotion, sad emotion, angry, whatever, already have in your mind, okay, but what is the purpose? What do I want this person I'm communicating with? What do I want them to walk away with? Other than my emotion. Because as a Cancer, you want them to feel you. I want you to feel me.
You're going to take this emotion with you.
You're going to
take this sadness, happiness, whatever.
I ain't going to be the only one feeling
I ain't going to be the only one with this because it's too much for me to carry. Because I got all this Cancer energy going on. So this is too much for me to hold on. So here.
Here, take it.
Take it.
And that person takes it and they're like, but what do you want me to do with it?
I don't know. Throw it out the window.
So to better help you with that is to communicate. And I actually wrote down on your paperwork some of your gemstones and things that you can use. I didn't write it on my paper, but it's on the printout. Make sure I got my flash drive with me. I can.
Okay. Yes.
Because so make sure that you're constantly communicating. Also, how you communicate, with it being in the 11th house, how you communicate with your community is very, very important. Very, very, very important. That people not only know how you feel, but if you have a vision, because again, the 11th house is a visionary. If you have a vision that you're trying to get them to see, especially if you're taking people on a journey. And I'm saying that because with a Cancer, you're always going to be nurturing somebody, right? In some kind of way, nurturing, protection, whatever. But you're nurturing them for the purpose. You've been running from your nurturing side. But you okay. So another thing that I wrote down is that with a moon in Cancer, you have to be nurturing yourself too. Because you're pouring out so much that you will find times where you actually are depleted and you don't realize it. You might not even realize it until the emotion
Now, I've here lately, I've kind of guilt myself or feel very badly because I'm annoyed by people wanting me to nurture them. I mean, and that's my nature. I mean, that's the way I've always been. But more or less within the last year. I'm like, don't come to me with that.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's been like this sudden turn, and even with what I'm doing, because it's a part of community and how I see my extended community at large, and with so much of nurturing being within my house, I don't understand why I'm so far removed from that at this point in my life. It's like, it's the cross, so I don't want to bear.
Well, you know what? And what's interesting, because with having all of this Cancer either in the 10th or the 11th house, again, the 11th house, yes, deals with how you connect with society. And a lot of times people view that 11th house as you connecting with humanity. But oftentimes it's, I know a lot of people, because Aquarius is the natural house of the 11th, natural sign of the 11th house, Aquarians who retreat from society because it's too much. Other people's energy is too, there's that part of you is so far ahead of where a lot of people are that sometimes it's hard to deal with. So having Cancer in the 11th house, the nurturing sign in the 11th house, and again having it in the visible part of your sky, so people know to come to you. They're like, oh, there she is. I see all that nurturing energy. Let me go.
I had 10 people come yesterday. 10.
Woo! So you have to. You have to retreat. Yeah, I ain't answering that. Let me just flip my phone over and just act like I ain't even see that person calling me.
Yes.
But
And that's not me. But it's like here in this space right now, I don't know why I'm trying to detach so much, or I'm trying to be so aloof.
The 11th house, oh God,
I thought,
girl.
oh, blame me here. I'm not picking up on your energy.
The 11th house is the house of detachment. What do we always talk about? When can detach. So that's his natural house. So the 11th house is the house of detaching from society.
But he's a humanitarian. His life path is
it goes back and forth. It's about dealing with humanity, but in order to lead humanity, you already have to be ahead of them to be able to say, this is where I'm taking you. So, perfect example, since we use Mary and Martha, Moses. What did he do most of the time? Look, I'm going on a mountaintop. I can't deal with y'all fools. I'm going up here, just me and the Lord. We're going to commune, and then when I get full up,
then I come back down.
I will come back down. So having Cancer there, which is already naturally just pouring out of nurturing, or at least people know to come to you to pull it from, right? You have to have moments where you go to the mountaintop, where you have to detach, especially moon in Cancer in the 11th house, because the moon deals with all of your inner emotions, your intuition. So if you don't ever detach from the people that you serve, your intuitive self won't be able to hear from spirit on how to serve them. So that's when you are feeling so this way, because Cancer can feel very well. So I would highly encourage you to pay attention to the way that you're feeling right now. So if you're feeling the need to detach. Go to your mountaintop, you and the Lord, or whoever, you and the Lord, go and just go full
when
out.
I come back down and be glowing, and I got a message for you.
And when you come back down, you'll be even more powerful than when you left, or how you left. But if you don't allow yourself to do that, you'll drain your intuitive self. You'll drain your spiritual self. And then the moon also deals with your hidden fears. So this is how it can get crazy, because then you can start thinking everybody out to get me, everybody trying to take from me, everybody trying to pull from me.
You know, thinking everybody energy vampire.
Everybody energy vampire. Then
she trying to sap my energy. She trying to sap my. He trying to. Don't come in.
You start side eyeing everybody. What she want? What he want? Why they calling? What they need? What they? You'll start thinking everybody trying to take from you. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have to detach. You're gonna have to detach. You won't be gone long.
I'm gonna come back, y'all. I ain't gonna be gone long.
Just
give me a second to get myself together.
Cancer, Sun, and Moon and Mercury, you ain't gonna be gone long. You got to find somebody. You be up on the mountaintop trying to nurture the Lord. Lord, what you need? What you need?
Give me a hug, Lord. You need a hug. You've been saving the world.
Let me save you. You're gonna have to detach. You're gonna have to detach and pay attention to when you feel that way.
Awesome.
Because that can lead, all that Cancer energy, that can lead to more emotional outbursts because you feel, and people could really be appreciating you, but because you feel that everybody, is taken from you emotionally in some kind of way. Again, think about mothers, right? Everybody who's had a mother, a decent, for the most part, decent mom, right? At some point, almost everybody's mama went on some kind of strike. At some point, somebody, I ain't washing no more dishes.
I know,
I ain't cooking
no more.
Right, because she feels like I've been doing again. Because mothers do things that children don't recognize. Like they didn't see that you they didn't see that you put the books in the book bag for them. They didn't see that you put the shoes where they're supposed to be. They didn't see that you snuggled when the blanket fell off.
Y'all don't even know about for y'all that y'all don't even see.
know.
And you trying to tell me I ain't giving you time?
That is that Cancer mother energy that you are one step away from going on strike. Because what mothers tend to do, and when I say mothers, even people with that strong Cancer energy, is to just keep giving and doing and little, and I'm a mother, Virgo, but I'm a mother. When as mothers we do things. We don't announce every time we do something.
Right.
We don't announce that, I picked up your special little ice cream because I know you like it. We don't ask for a parade every time. But if as Cancer is the first water sign of the zodiac. So it's the cardinal. It leads Scorpio and Pisces in that water energy. Like it's the lead. It's like, hey, Scorpio and Pisces. All right, this is how we gonna do this. You know what I mean?
This is how we gonna emote.
This is how we gonna emote. I'm gonna show y'all I'm the mother, right? So you got all of that divine feminine energy that's always nurturing, loving, giving, doing, and not necessarily announcing it. Just little things. Oh, he looks cold. Let me put a little blanket on. Oh, okay, all right, let me make sure get some little something for him to eat. All these little things. And that builds up over time. And like every mother, and we all have experienced it, or we've all done it, where our children will look at us like, dang, why is she wilding out? But to you, it's been building. With having a sun and a moon in Cancer, you have to be monitoring your emotional barometer at all times. Where am I?
Where's my emotional barometer?
Where's my emotional barometer? Am I about to go off? Because Cancer, again, will hold it in, and then it just, that energy just explodes and throws up. And everybody else is like, why is she so mad?
It ain't that serious. All I did was say.
All I did was call her twice. Why she? But they didn't know. They didn't know.
Understand that 100 more people called me twice.
Exactly. So be like Moses. Again, moon in the 11th house. You have to detach from humanity in order to serve humanity.
Thank you. Valuable information.
Yeah. So, Jupiter, you have Jupiter in the sign of Leo. Now, Jupiter is very, let me go back to Mars real quick. Because you have Venus and Mars in the sign of Gemini, both of them.
I got all these 2 planets.
You look, 3 Cancers in a row, Gemini. And then it's kind of following in order.
Repetition.
And then it's Leo, Virgo, skips Libra, but yeah. Mars in the sign of Gemini. Mars is the planet of aggression. How, and not always in a negative way, but how you take action. It's not the passive side of you, but the aggressive. Your drive, your motivation, but also anger.
Solar plexus.
Yeah. So to have Mars in the sign of Gemini, Gemini is very quick, fast moving. It says what it has to say. You could actually, if you are very angry, you could really say some real hurtful stuff. And then, I said it.
Yeah, I said it. And what?
And you still mad about it 3 days later?
Right.
I'm sorry you mad about it because I got it off my chest.
I'm not taking responsibility for how you feel. Now
that Gemini energy is very fast moving. It's quick, and then, you know. So you may find that is how you communicate, especially when you are angry. But the good thing about Mars in Gemini is that it likes to deal with problems quick. So if something really is a problem, you're going to address it. Let's talk about this, because Gemini don't like to talk. Let's talk about this. Okay, let's go on and work this out, so we don't have to keep dealing with this issue over and over again. Gemini don't like to keep repeating stuff. With Mars there, yeah, you need to talk it out. But again, with your Mercury energy, you in Cancer, you got to be clear. Can't be all emotional. You have to be clear on the desired outcome. Why are we having this conversation?
He said it to me all the time. What's the end result?
What's the end result? What you want. You want them to feel your emotions.
Yeah, I want you to feel it. I'm like, feel me. Feel what I'm saying, CK.
Because Cancer's main thing is feeling. So you think if they feel how I feel, then they'll get it. But somebody else is like, no, if I just have the information, then I can do what you need me to do.
I need the information. I need the info. I need the intel.
So just know, okay, emote, then give the intel. That way both of y'all be satisfied. You get your emotion out, she gets the information.
Yes.
But okay, so Jupiter is the planet of big blessings. I always say this: Jupiter gives big blessings. Saturn teaches big lessons. So we already talked about Saturn. Saturn, they're close. Jupiter and Saturn.
In my 12th house.
And no, excuse me, Saturn's in your first house.
Oh, first house,
and
yes.
Jupiter's in your 12th house.
Okay.
Yes. So, with it being a wheel, I normally have this picture in front of people, but whatever. With it being a wheel, it's like, we know everything is 360 degrees, right? Nothing is linear. Everything is continuous. So you got Jupiter in this 12th house and then Saturn in your first house. You know what I mean? So it's all, they're coming together. Jupiter gives big blessings, meaning it expands everything. It blesses just because you want to win the lottery, okay. Hey, you want to, whatever is a blessing to you. Like it gives, people love when Jupiter is in their home sign. And I think Jupiter just moved into the sign of Sagittarius for those who are Sagittarians. And it stays there for a year.
Get your blessing.
It stays there for a year. So that whole year, you better be working every blessing opportunity possible, right? So Jupiter likes to bless, but on its less favorable side, it blesses and expands anything. Anything it touches. So if it's foolishness, it expands foolishness.
Oh, Lord.
If it's delusion, it expands. Oh, okay, we want to be delusional. Oh, okay, let's be big time delusional.
Lord.
It makes everything bigger. You know what I mean? If you like to, let's just say, if you like to eat, it's like, okay, let's eat some more. Let's eat. It just expands everything. So Jupiter in the sign of Leo for you. Leo is that sun energy, is that ego.
That's my dad.
It's the ego. Jupiter can, on its good side for you, with it being in the 12th house. Let me explain. You have Jupiter and Leo in the 12th house. Let me say it like that. 12th house is, natural sign is Pisces. Is that spiritual house, spirituality, beliefs, imagination. So Jupiter seeks to bless anything and expand anything that you dream and imagine. It can expand that energy on its good side, good or bad. On its less than favorable side, if you're imagining things that aren't even real, if you are if you are,
I'm thinking they all energy vampires.
Yeah, then it's okay. Then they all are. You know what I mean? So it's going to expand that for you. But I wrote something really specific. Yes. So Jupiter and Leo in the 12th house. That means you shine when it comes to all things spiritual, which we already kind of talked about. Like you can easily, with it being a sign of Leo, you rise to the occasion when it comes to spirituality, belief, faith, anything even things that are unseen in the unseen realm. Like you can break down something that's metaphysical. You can easily break that down to make it practical, which kind of helps you again with that North Node energy, making the spiritual practical. Don't just stay in the spirit, make it practical.
Right. They know I'm preaching that all the time in the Copper Vibe Tribe.
Yep. So having Jupiter there, that gives you that you could really shine when it comes to that. With that also though, the 12th house being the house of self-sabotage, that means you've probably had really big successes and really colossal, like, what the hell is she doing with her life moments? And I know we've had conversations, but to see it on paper, and let's just hope that most of that is behind you.
I know, that's behind me. Only big sets, big bucks, no whammies.
Right.
About to spin the wheel.
If I said you either sabotage yourself in big ways through neglecting to see the warning signs of certain things, or you excel in big ways by paying attention to what spirit is saying to you. So always be aware of what spirit. There she go, yawning. Oh, there she go. That's a habit.
There you go. You
Always
must have said a
attention.
key word or something.
Right.
Trigger word.
I must have said copper tribe jewelry. It's hello to everybody who's commenting. Jupiter, you know, if you want to just self-sabotage yourself, Jupiter will allow you to do it in a big, massive way. But if you want success, always, I would say here, always tune into what spirit is saying to you. Always be clear. If there's ever any rushing, like, oh, I just want to do this because, always be clear on, but is this divine for me? Whatever it is that you need to do, if you pray, meditate, whatever, to gain clarity, because whatever action you take, Jupiter, that energy, where it is for you, seeks to expand it for you, to make it bigger.
Wow.
So then use it for your good, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Since you got that there, use it for your good. And with it being in the house of Leo, the sign of your ego, the sign of where you shine, the sign, anytime you have to be in the forefront, whether that's speaking, whether that's online, whether that's, I know y'all then, wherever you have to, where people have to have their eyes on you, wherever you about to really shine, make sure that you're coming from a real, because Leo is the sun. So make sure you're really coming from a real power position. That's where you can really put your willpower in. You know what I mean? But make sure it's still connected to spirit, so you know that you ain't just out there with your willpower all ego like. Right. Now you coming from, and with it being in that 12th house, that means it's more than likely whenever you're doing anything of a spiritual nature. Whenever you're doing anything, whenever you could probably manifest from your imagination really, really big. Really, really big. The 12th house deals with your imagination.
With no imagination, and so here lately, you know, with CK being a creative, that energy, he transfers that energy to me a lot. So I've been exploring imagination, and he's always like, look, babe, can't you see? Picture, you know, whatever. Picture the house, walk through the room, like, and that's not something that I normally do. But because he's such a creative and because he's such a visionary, he can see things. He's always trying to take me on that journey with him. At first, I used to be like, "You crazy? You talking that crazy talk?"
I'm glad you said that, because
I try to explore.
Because in your chart, like I said, it's 360. So first is coming this imagination in the 12th house, this dream, fantasy, imagination, and right after that, your very first the 12th house is where you are before you manifest in physical form. I always say that's like right where you were before your mom gave birth to you. You know what I mean? You still a dream. You're unseen. It's your unseen part of you. Then your first house, where Virgo is for you, and Saturn, is like, oh, I'm ready to take action. But how do most people take action? They take action on what they see in their mind. So we put imagination, creativity together, and we say, oh, I don't have an imagination. everything that you've ever taken action on is because you saw it in your mind first. So, for example, like when you told me one time that you used to make plates, that was something like, because you sold this Saturn and Virgo, you probably really thought, I'm just taking out, I'm just cooking. You didn't realize that was a dream first. That was something that resonated in the unseen part of Monye. It resonated in the heart part of you. It resonated in just something you thought to do, but because for you it happened so quickly, you think it and you do it. You dream it and you do it. So you don't realize how big a role that dream, imagination, visionary part of you plays in what you're creating and what you're putting out into the world. So Jupiter is expanding your imagination. It's allowing you to dream big. And then Saturn comes right after in the first house and says, all right, so what's the work that we have to do to implement what we saw in the spirit, what we saw in our mind? That's probably happening so quickly for you, like lightning speed, that you don't even realize that you're doing it. You know what I mean? So if you could probably now reflect over your life and say, wow, that venture was hugely successful. But it started out as a dream. It just, to you, it was just, oh, I'm just going to do this. You didn't even realize, you thought, I'm just doing something.
I'm just doing it.
But it's that Jupiter in your 12th house that's allowing you to imagine something and then make it big, good or bad. So if you look at your physical world, anything you've done, created, manifested, whatever in your life, just retrace your entire life and everything that physically happened to you or that you physically created was the result of all of that Jupiter in your 12th house.
Wow.
You can do big things, is what I'm saying. You can do big things. And what's really good for you is that Saturn in your first house, you have the discipline or the work ethic to manifest it, but you probably give more credence to the work ethic part. You don't realize how big a role Jupiter in your 12th house right before it is playing and making what you manifest big. So I would say dream big. I would definitely say dream big. And then what's not hard for you is doing the work to make it happen. Right. You know what I mean? But really, you know, even spend time, that could be another routine habit that you create to help your North Node, right? Is to just say, I'm going to set aside 10 minutes a day to just dream. I'm just going to sit right here and do this right here. Not nothing, no super meditation. You don't need no like nothing like that. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm just gonna dream. I'm gonna dream big. Like, what's the biggest thing I can imagine for myself? With all that Cancer energy, what's the biggest way that I can nurture the community? Just go all the way there in your mind. And then what will happen is you'll start to notice more and more avenues for you to do that. Now you've created a habit, a routine, which is healthy for you. You have your nice little glass of water right here while you're doing it. So you're drinking that water that your Cancer self needs. And then, and what I'm really feeling is that because you flow so well in spirit that you don't even realize how big a role spirit has played in allowing you to do things that people said was impossible. The 12th house is the house of the impossible. So if you're manifesting things that people said is not possible, or you shouldn't have been able to do that, how are you able? That's that connection. That's Jupiter and Saturn working in your favor. You know what I mean? People get afraid of, like I said, people get afraid of Saturn because it is that planet of discipline and all that kind of stuff. But really, it's helping to manifest what Jupiter wants to bless. Jupiter wants to bless you in big ways, and Saturn says, okay, well, let's do this work then.
You're going to get this work.
You're going to get this work.
Wow.
Yeah. So, any questions so far? I know I've just been like, bleh.
No, that was good. That was good. I mean, it was clear. That was very clear. That was very Virgo. Very detailed.
Girl, you should see me like typing this up, and I just be like, Tonya, will you stop?
I
Like I just be so like, wait a minute, the heading has got to be. Wait, I got to get her to understand that this
girl, I don't care about that
goes
head
together with
it.
that. Wait a minute, let me make this part bold so she can really see. It's just like I drive my own self
I'm
crazy.
like, girl, no, you just don't even do all that. It can be half capital, half lowercase. You can be missing punctuation. It don't matter. I'm gonna get
crazy.
this work.
You're right. And so I thought to myself, I looked at your chart and I was like, she don't even care. Why am I even doing this to myself? Like, for real. Like, you know.
Right.
So like I stated before, and you'll see this on your chart.
Why am I so connected with numbers?
When I'm doing people's charts, I see the numbers in their chart. Are you asking me that as far as your chart? I
don't know. I feel this strong drawn to numerology, and I do tarot reading, I do oracle cards, but I never ever do them the way everybody else do them. I only do them by numbers. I'm so drawn to numbers, and they're always spot on. Wow. Because of numbers, and I'm so fascinated by numerology.
Wow. And
just feel this extreme connection to numbers. CK can tell you, if you tell me your social security number right now, I will remember it and will never forget it. It'll be 20 years down the line. You'll be like, what's my social security
remember it. You probably remember your very first phone number from
336-691-9887.
Wow.
I don't know. It's just this thing, and people used to tell me, like, when I work or even in school, like, you got to find a job or something where you use numbers. And it was like, because your memory of numbers is just so amazing. I see it one time in my debit card numbers, ID, mine, his, my daughter's, everybody's numbers and everything around me.
Numbers speak to you.
Extremely connected to numbers. I didn't know if that was in my chart.
I don't necessarily see that in your chart. It might be, and it might be in there. But at first, I thought you were, when you said numbers, because I was looking at these houses, and I'm not. Sometimes I connect to numbers. Like if I'm doing a reading, I see a bunch of cards with twos on them. Then I'm like, oh, okay, that's a 2 card.
It might be somebody locked out.
But when I'm looking at somebody's chart,
he just did try to call me.
Oh, somebody's chart.
His friend.
And I see a bunch of repetitive, like, stuff all in the same, like how I noticed that all of your stuff is above the horizon in the 10th, 11th, and 12th house. Like, that stood out to me. To me, that's more important than, like, so I know some astrologers who would just be caught up on the fact that you are a Cancer sign, or Cancer. But to me, where it is in the sky is almost more important. So those, for me, that's
so open, because all of that is in it.
Yeah,
so open with my life, and I tell
all of that is
anything,
why you're so
in.
open. Because most Cancer, if that Cancer was somewhere else, if you had a Cancer sun somewhere, if it was in another house, you would be more in your shell. Then you put your soft meat out there. Somehow you put it out on top of the shell. Like, everybody, this is soft meat. But don't hurt me though.
I know, don't hurt me though.
Yeah.
Got the little butter knife.
Right. Yeah. So
wow.
So lastly, what I want to talk about is the stuff that's going on below the horizon for you. You have, most of your planets are above the horizon. They're outwards, which means the world can see them. You are known for that energy, or that's the energy that you express. All of the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, for you are below the horizon. And they're all in retrograde. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for you, when you were born, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto were all retrograde. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah. So usually when a planet is retrograde, we know that's when it's slowing down. It looks like it's slowing down in the sky or going backwards. And that means that energy really is projected inwardly, or how we interpret it is we put that energy really, really on ourselves. So Uranus is the planet of rebellion. It's the planet of independence. It's the planet of quick changes. You know what I mean? Like, it can't have no pattern. It's got to do what it wants to do. That's the energy of Uranus. To have that retrograde in the sign of Scorpio for you is that you do a lot of internal changes. Internal changes. In other words, you don't project that. You need something.
I need him 2 silver change.
I know I'm about to get him so.
Okay.
Whereas Uranus, that energy is usually trying
Espresso.
Peace. Is usually trying to project that energy outward. It's trying to change the world. It's trying to rebel in an outward way. For you, that is something that is done internal. So you could be on a set path and then all of a sudden you change. Or you don't want to walk that path anymore. You know, so you can make quick changes like that. From the outside looking in, it's like hard to keep up with then. Because people are like, I thought she was doing this, now she's doing that.
Yep.
I thought she believed this, and now she's believing that.
Thought she was in the nation.
Thought she was
a minister in the Christian church.
Yeah.
Now she over here.
Now she over here.
Thought she was with this dude. Now she with this dude. Because I be switching.
Now she married. It's like, wait a minute, she married. They're like,
all of a sudden, out the blue.
all of a sudden, out of the blue. And so that energy.
Ain't tell a single soul.
I wrote something really specific about that. I think I wrote it on your paperwork, on the printout with Uranus and Scorpio. Oh, yeah, because it's in your third house. So even what you speak, because the third house deals with speaking and how you verbalize. So with having Scorpio in your third house, you can speak in a way that can change lives, because Scorpio deals with transformation. So the words you speak are important. How you, and especially because you deal with community a lot. Again, all of those other planets are outward. So first, how you speak to yourself is hugely important, because with Uranus and God, that's such a powerful energy. Uranus is always trying to create quick changes, and Scorpio is always trying to transform. So the words that you speak to yourself, how are they changing you and transforming you? You always have to be aware of that. Is my internal dialogue changing and transforming me for the better or for the worse? And then because you have all of that Cancer energy, ultimately what you speak on yourself will be how you nurture the community. So the words, so really going back to that detachment, you have to detach at times so that you can, in my mind, I'm doing all of this, but in my mind it's like speaking loving words to yourself, intentionally, without attachments of other people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not building myself up because I got to hurry up and feed these other people. You know what I mean? I really got to build myself up internally. I really have to speak words of power to myself. Again, that's another habit that you could create. Every day. Have for 5 minutes. Set a timer. Again, because that Virgo energy is all okay. So get real Virgo-ish in it. I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes, and I'm just gonna look in the mirror. I'm gonna say nothing but positive words to myself. You know, in my moments of detachment. So having Uranus in retrograde for you also could mean that when it's retrograde, you could sometimes make quick changes that aren't beneficial. You know what I mean? Because you're thinking in a retrograde kind of mind in that moment. You know what I mean? So always ask yourself, before you make a quick and sudden change, like, really, is this going to be beneficial to me in the long term? You know what I mean? Or am I just doing this because this is how I feel right now? Right. Uranus energy is very impulsive. You know what I mean? It's very... Uranus don't want to follow no rules. As a matter of fact, that actual planet is the only planet that does, like, it rotates on its side. All other planets doing like this. It's doing this. You know what I mean? It's doing some old weird stuff. And I think it goes backwards. So all the other planets go this way, and it's the only planet that does this. So that energy is always going to want to rebel against the rules. So ain't nothing wrong with a little rebellion, but always ask yourself.
Tell me a rule, I'm thinking of a way to rebel.
You're already trying to rebel. So maybe start creating your own rules, which again goes back to creating your own habits. So if you create the rule, then you don't feel bad about adhering to the rules.
Okay.
It's probably, and it's obvious, but even if I didn't know you and I saw this, I would be like, man, she probably couldn't keep a job where she has to follow somebody else's rules long term. No.
Nope. Ain't gonna do it.
Neptune retrograde in Sagittarius, we talked about that, and it's in your 4th house. The 4th house is the natural house of Cancer. The 4th house deals with home, mothering, nurturing. You have to dream big when it comes to your home. You have to.
And I always
imagine
like,
and dream
no,
big.
just want a little.
And if that's what you, and with it being retrograde, with Neptune being retrograde, that means you do that. I want big, but no, I'm just going to, because it's so.
And I'm always conflicted. Like, should I be like Jupiter big? Like, okay, we're gonna do cartwheels in my estate, or do I want my little tiny home?
Maybe you can have a big house with a little tiny home that you can retreat to on your, 40 acres.
So when I start thinking about that big house, I start thinking about all that maintenance.
But that's what I said, though. We're going to have the small house in front and the big house
Look,
in the back.
He said nothing the whole thing. Look, he said nothing the whole reading. And then he just popped in one day. He agreed with that.
He came in on that one. Let me remind anybody who's watching, if you go to my website, TonyaPoole.com, TonyaPoole. Right now, my readings, The Magic of Me, Intuitive Natal Chart Reading is on sale for $99. It's regularly $150. And I sit down with you either in person or Skype or over the phone or whatever, and you get all of this. Plus the written paperwork. Plus you get to record it if you want it video or audio recorded, so that you can always have that.
Again, don't lie to soup.
Yes.
So that Neptune is a dreamer. It's the imagination. With it being retrograde, you're always second guessing your imagination. Now it doesn't surprise me that you said, I kind of imagine it. You don't even realize you're imagining as much as you are. So you're always second guessing your beliefs, your imagination. Am I dreaming too big? It's always a question mark there. And then with Pluto in retrograde in the sign of Libra. Libra is about your partnerships. Libra, and Libra for you is in the 2nd house, the house of making money and values. So you,
it's in retrograde?
Yeah, it's in retrograde there. But that just means that, so when Pluto is retrograde, it's always, it can have you questioning if somebody is ever manipulating you. With it being in the house of money for you, that means that you could possibly at times have fears of either being taken advantage of. Basically, in your partnerships, however you partner, you want to make sure you're clear on the stipulations. You're clear on what's expected of you and what's expected of the other person. Whether it's marriage partnership and y'all making money together, whether you partner with somebody else on a money-making venture, you want to be very clear on how are we dividing this money, how are we, who is responsible for what's my role in this partnership. Because with it being retrograde, then you can step into that fear factor and thinking somebody might be trying to take advantage of me. No, they ain't gonna get my money, or no, they ain't gonna, block my blessings, and they might not even be doing that. So you have to be very, very clear on how you're partnering for your own sanity's sake.
That's how I think we probably went through that period in the beginning where he was primarily making all the money and I wasn't making the money, and I was like, hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up. Yeah, I need to see something. I need to put some money in my account. Give me a card right now.
See, so you can, because you ain't gonna be the only one having access.
Right.
I want to have access too, which then takes us back to that Virgo North Node for you. Then clearly
we fought over the money for a minute, like who was gonna control it and who was gonna. We had to break it down and just make all our accounts joint. That was the final result of it all, because it's like it's all gonna go in this account. It's all gonna go in my. No, it's gonna go in my account. It's like I'll get mad, frustrated, but here, put it all in your account then. But then I started feeling bad, like you gonna spend that money and then we ain't gonna have no money. Give me that back. Now I'm in control. I'm gonna be in control of the money, and then finally we just had to make everything joint. Savings, our individual bank accounts, the credit cards, everything is joint.
And that was probably more for your mental sanity than it was for his, because Pluto retrograde in Libra in the second house. The second house is all about money, and particularly my money. I did this work, so this is my money. What? It's like, no, I created.
He got that same. He got that same one too, though.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
You don't.
I want my money. Give me some money.
Because I gotta
ain't got no money in my account.
I end up having to speak up because you be guarding the money, and if I spend it's our money and we both have access. I spend it and you looking at me cockeyed like, what you doing? I'm like, hold up, you gotta give me money where that you can't. You can watch it, but you can't
regulate it
like I did something wrong.
See, Pluto naturally rules Scorpio, which is definitely you ain't gonna take advantage of me sign, or I will like for real come and hurt you sign. So to have Pluto retrograde for you just means that like you could fear being taken advantage of or being manipulated, or somebody getting the upper hand on you, even, and it might not even be reality, but it's just something. So you just always have to put yourself in a position where you can be clear that that's not happening. And that's going to keep, with it being a sign of Libra, that's going to keep the balance. That's going to keep that's going to keep peace, because you are, you're clear that whoever you're partnering with is not running no kind of game.
Yeah, and I always kept that clear, like, you got full access to everything. There's no game being ran. You don't got to worry about games.
I'm like, yeah, but that's logging in under your username with your password. No, I need my own username with my own password so I can go in and move my, you know what I mean? Like, legally, it's in my account.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right. So you always like, well, hold up, because if it's in my name, and if anybody got questions, they're going to come after me, so I need to know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see that one.
Yep.
Grow up in your name.
Loving and nurturing is your
Wow,
legacy.
that even happened with, CBT. Like, when we started the retreat, and I had somebody else responsible over there, and I was like, oh, they made some wrong moves. I was like, hold up, no, it's in my name.
Yeah.
And if this don't come back right, then I'm going to be to blame.
So you always got to keep those lines.
And they didn't understand that. They felt it from you trying to micromanage.
And you don't trust them.
You don't trust me, and I'm a trustworthy person.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. In my mind, I'm thinking of it from a responsibility.
Yeah.
So we go back to the responsibility.
North Node and Virgo.
Yes.
You gotta now. You see all the areas where you can really magnetize that part of you. Being clear on the rules and regulations. It's not even so much adhering to the rules and regulations all the time. It's being clear. Even if you set the rules, we are going to be clear on what the rules are. North Node and Virgo, that means you need to have written contracts. Written contracts are very important for you. North Node and Virgo, that meaning again your South Node is in Pisces, which means your Pisces spiritual self can't even excel in this life for you if you're not doing the Virgo micromanaging stuff. You will flow better in the spirit when you handle the paperwork, is what Virgo North Node is saying. When you do the responsible stuff, when you write the contracts, when you have signatures, when you read the fine print, when you create healthy routines, when you do all of this little stuff that probably might irritate you because it's so micromanaged, like it's so tedious. then you can flow better in your spiritual stuff. You can flow better in your gifts. You can
And
flow
I've been
better
working
in your
in the
heart chakra
opposite. I've been working in the. It's not a big deal. Go ahead, you know. It's like
You just want to flow in the spirit and hope the chips fall
where
where
they
they
may.
may.
And then when things don't work out, I'm like, why didn't it work out?
Right.
They don't get it. They don't understand. And he's like, you don't communicate clearly. If you would just communicate clearly.
You gotta, girl. Yes, I'm looking at your.
I'm like,
yes.
I don't think get it.
Mm-mm.
Like it's flow, it's common sense.
All that Cancer
You should
energy just wants to
understand
just
that.
love and nurture, and it's like, but no, you gotta communicate clearly. All that South Node Pisces just wants to flow in the spirit, and we all one, and they should understand the energy and love and light. And it's like, but your Virgo North Node is like, okay, all that love and light about to turn into darkness if you don't write it down on paper. If you're not clear, on what the rules are, who's doing what, when, and what time, and and all that kind of stuff. Yes, doing that tedious stuff. Trust me, I know. See, the nodes stay in position for at least 18 months. I was born almost a year before you, about 10 months before you. The North Node had just moved into Virgo right a long time for me. So I was like, damn. Because for me, if it were just me naturally, I would just be doing readings and cards. And I might do something with some stones sometime. I might just go float off somewhere. I have a huge spiritual, and I say it was all humility, I have a huge spiritual gifting part of me that is anti-Virgo, even though my sun is Virgo and my North Node is Virgo. But it's like, oh, wait a minute, I gotta create routines with this spiritual stuff. How you create a routine with spiritual? Spiritual ain't got no routines. Spiritual don't have no boundaries.
I'm sorry.
But you gotta remember that you are a spiritual being in a physical body. So you have to apply all of this spiritual stuff and contain it and make it practical. Once I realized that for my life, then I was like, okay. Now, I can make it practical. I just want to be somewhere on, just chilling at the beach, doing readings maybe, or then float on to the next thing I want to do. But North Node and Virgo is like, but you got to create a routine for this. It got to make sense. And that's how you'll be able to really flow better in your spiritual gifts.
The routines is also us no lie.
That's the habit that I had.
Yeah, but we in a transformation.
We're in transformation. We literally have avoided going live for over a week now.
Wow.
Which is not.
I know.
Normal.
Y'all be going live, different groups, different.
And I know they tired of seeing me popping up and ain't no jewelry popping off. They like, what in the world? She keep coming up. I keep coming up with all different.
She's doing the spiritual work so she can feed into it.
Right. So I'm coming back tomorrow.
Definitely, we're gonna
be back tomorrow with our normal routine.
Probably
so you can get your stuff for holiday season. It's a new routine. We got new setup, all new situation going on.
And that's good for
so
you.
make sure you look out for your text messaging because we're trying to make things run a little smoother for the new year. But what a better way to start than now? Develop those habits that she talked about with me now, so that in the new year, there's less wait time in between Copper King making it and then getting it out.
And that's probably really good that you're looking to hire somebody. Be very, very clear on what you need and what you want. Write it out. That's some very Virgo stuff.
Write it out. Contract.
These are your duties. This is, the hours that you... Even if you're keeping it open, I know you say you want to keep it open, but you still have an expectation that but you still gonna work 15 hours a week, or you still gonna work 10 hours, whatever. And then, so that person can handle that tedious stuff. Now you're probably still gonna want to oversee it because all that Pluto retrograde. You probably still gonna want to make sure, you know what I mean, just so you have peace of mind.
Gotta make sure I got that clear contract. that non-disclosure, so I don't have to feel like they're trying to get over me.
Exactly. I'm laughing, but I'm serious. You need that.
You know, when the other side start kicking in, they're trying to get over me.
And for you probably exactly. And you like, oh no, I had to get rid of that person because they were just, they were energy vampire. I had to get my hater blocker. What am I hater blocker? But just make sure that you do all that, and even do things like every 2 weeks, maybe just have a sit down with that person for 30 minutes. We just gonna have a meeting to just see where we're at. You know what I mean? Just you just need that, and that's helping you on that level. Doing that will help you to flow better in your spiritual aspect.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is pretty much all that I have.
Well, thank you so much, y'all. Make sure y'all go over to TonyaPoole.com.
Yes.
First person to get signed up gets a free copy of my book. It's only $99 to get your own personal reading. Y'all see this? How much she poured into me? How much valuable information she had for me? I didn't have a bunch of questions, but maybe you got a bunch of questions about what you're going through and you need to know more. Make sure you head over, get your full and complete, and she will also give you a copy.
That's right. I'll give you a copy, and if we do our conversation over the phone, we can set it up so that you're recording it, so you can always go back and listen to it. Because I dump a lot on you.
Been recorded.
Yeah, well, we got this link. We're going to say this link. And you can always go back and watch it, or you can always go back and listen to it.
I was resisting to taking notes. Now, what you said?
Right. You go back and watch it.
Just burn up.
Right.
I agree with it. I agree with everything I heard.
Oh, good.
Well, that's
good.
Unbelievable.
He lives with her. He married to her, so he know.
I already knew it all, though.
Yeah, I already know. Such an Aquarius.
He knows every damn thing.
But honestly, though, I did, and that's one of the reasons why we married quick. They had a contract so she could be secure, the routines, the structure, the flow. Like, we live it. And that's where success really comes from, is living it. Even down to when you was breaking down the way she works, what works for her, and all that. It's all true. And some of us could naturally pick up on things and see people. I ain't know the stars, but when you break down the stars, it's like yeah, that's it. It adds up.
And I always try to, my Virgo nature. I try not to bombard you with a bunch of information, but what's so good for what I need is for people to understand. Because I don't like for people to walk away and say, she told me a bunch of stuff. I don't even know what she said. So that's why I give you a written copy and you have a recorded copy.
One thing that I do want is I want to see the planets.
Okay, yeah, and that's on her, that on your chart, I actually have the...
It's like where the sun is, where everything is.
I actually have the full wheel, which shows exactly where everything is. So you can see how close they are. You will actually see, the sun is right here, and Venus is right there. So it's actually the last page of your chart is the actual
sun trying to burn up.
Okay, yeah, I would like the.
That's close to
that. And also, I would
that
like
fire that the sun is giving off. What's close to it that is trying to.
I'd like you to do one on me. I got my.
I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
And we'll pay and all that great stuff.
Okay, all right, yeah. Hey, if you're the first one, you're going to get a copy of the book.
A copy of my book. No, somebody else out there is the first one, because I know somebody done went and signed up.
Yes.
To get your reading for just $99. You can go anywhere. You can go out there and get your own quotes. Go out there and get your own quotes. It ain't going to be $99, I can guarantee you that. And if it is, they just type some mess in the computer and hand you a printout and say, go have a good day.
I say this with all humility. I really do. If people want to go online and just pull their own charts, you won't understand it unless the way a real astrologer can.
Because I went to, what's that thing? Cafe Astrology. And I looked up this and it told me this things right here. But it wasn't nothing in line with what she said. This was more full. It gave me a better understanding. The things that they had on Cafe Astrology was surface.
Yeah.
And it didn't really connect with what she was saying, how she was telling us about the houses, and this part is the open part, and this is what's hidden. Yeah. You know, you don't learn that on the free ones online. The detail, the ability to have someone with you and exchange energy, and to be able to ask questions. You can't ask questions online.
Right. And they also look at things like very isolated. So they'll say, your son is here. And you get a little paragraph about what that means. But how does that connect to your Neptune, though?
Right.
You know what I mean? So when I'm looking at someone's chart, I'm looking at what jumps out at me first. You know, like what are your planets speaking to me? And what to be honest with you, I always pray before I delve into a person's chart. Help me to see what this person needs to know. Help me to see what this person needs to see. So like for you, when I saw all of this, you know, in the 10th and 11th house, I'm like, oh man, your emotional well-being and even your purpose is so connected to community. How, your ability, how you flow with the community is so important to your own personal wellness and development and your own purpose. And so that's why sometimes you will have to retreat so you can rebuild, but you always want to come back to community. You know what I mean? I would not have known that just knowing that you were a Cancer. I mean, just saying your son is in Cancer, well, that can mean a lot. That's a lot of things.
Right. You just think I'm just an emotional wreck.
Just emotional wreck, right? You know, and the thing is, and actually, I think I wrote it on your printout, is that people look at Cancer and they see it as a weakness, right? But Cancer is a cardinal sign. Again, it's like the first water sign, so it is strong. Your emotions are your strength. You know what I mean? It's what draws people to you. It's how you're able to feed people through the love that you have in your heart. So
why get a reading?
Anyway,
why do people even be into all this? Why do they need to know this information? Like, I'm good. I don't need to know this information. The greatest knowledge is the knowledge of self. And these are tools to help you get to know yourself. So I encourage you. First step, I wish this would have been my first step, but first step, get your astrological reading. Get the Magic of Me astrological reading from Tonya Poole. So head over to TonyaPoole.com and sign up for just $99 and get that reading. It's going to be very helpful for you to have the knowledge of self and understand really who you are so that you can maneuver better. This doesn't mean that this is all there is to you. Right. Because you shape the planet. There's a teaching that I learned in the Nation of Islam. Who is the original man? The maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, gods of the universe. What is in our universe? These planets, these houses. So we literally can shape these. If I see something in my chart that's not favorable, I have the power within me to make changes.
That's right.
So I can't make changes about things that I don't know.
That's right.
So by her bringing the knowledge to me and understanding certain things, now I have been given the mirror. And the knowledge to be able to see myself more clearly and understand why I do things and how to better do things in the future moving forward. So, get this work.
That's right.
Get this knowledge.
That's right.
$99, you drink that in Starbucks.
Right.
$99, you eat that in potato chips.
That's right.
$99, you be going through the drive-thru. Don't act like you don't, because I know you do. So make sure you invest in yourself, because if you want to return, if you're trying to manifest, everybody got these big manifestations, but ain't nobody making no investments. Nobody's making no investments and no deposits into their future. They just saying what I want. Well, you have to make an investment in order to get a return. That's spiritual law. That's not just something that I'm saying. It's not something that she's saying. Right. That is spiritual law. So invest in yourself. Treat yourself to the knowledge of yourself, because it is the greatest knowledge. I don't give a damn what book you read. Know yourself.
Know yourself. Know yourself. And then you can work in perfect timing. I can go ahead and tell you straight up. The end of this month, we have a full moon in the sign of Cancer. That's when you should be doing your biggest moon rituals because your natal chart moon is
y'all
in the
know,
sign of Cancer.
Y'all know I get sit in December.
Mm-hmm.
December is my month to project and plan my year ahead.
Yep.
Every time I've planned my year out in December,
Yeah.
I manifest like this.
Yeah.
Before the year even gets started, I'm on it. Because that's the time where I really reflect and start putting things in my imagination.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Yes. You already doing it, but now that you know, you can do it with more intention.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to set a real will and decree is what I call it.
Gosh.
Under this particular full moon. And it's in Cancer too.
Yes.
Oh, y'all got to watch out. Watch
That's
what
right.
CQ about to do.
Yep.
But yes, because this will and decree, once you have this knowledge, then you can make your will and decree greater, and you can have a better understanding of how to speak those things, vision those things, and actually manifest them in your life. But many of you are struggling with manifestation because you don't know yourself. You're thinking it's because I ain't sprinkled this herb over here, or I ain't carry this stone with me, or because I ain't do this ritual right way, I messed up on that. No, it's because you don't know who you are. Yeah. And once you know who you are, then you'll know and understand intuitively what herb you need to sprinkle over here. Intuitively.
Yep.
Not necessarily what you read in the book. That can be helpful. But intuitively. The greatest knowledge is the knowledge of self. When she was reading this to me, I saw the chakras and where I operate within certain chakras and how I need to strengthen certain ones that are moving backward, that are rotating slowly or rotating opposite. And so that helped me to understand a lot more of certain chakras that I need to pay attention to. So get this work. $99. TonyaPoole.com.
And again, I say this with all humility, but I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Right. And my love is to help you to see yourself. And I just want to tell this quick, short story, and I'm going to let y'all go so y'all can get ready to make these Copper Vibrations purchases tomorrow when they go live.
Yes, tomorrow.
I did a chart for a young lady who, and again, a chart is not meant to diagnose or treat anything.
Right.
Really. It's not. But she had been diagnosed as bipolar. And she really just could not get a grasp on certain parts of her life. And she had been told all her life that she was crazy, or that she was, she would never do anything. She would never be anything. And she was like, I quit 6 jobs this year. And I was like, 6 jobs? Dang, she quit 6 jobs in a year. Most people can't even get 6 jobs.
I know, right?
So first of all, I had to show her how much of a power that was, that she was even able to acquire 6 jobs in a year. Most people look a whole year for 1 job.
Yes.
And what was causing her to do this stop and start, this get a job and quit, and all that kind of stuff, was things that I saw happening within, with Saturn for her discipline, and where it was in the house of her, of working, of putting in that work, but because she couldn't see herself, when she was able to see herself through the magic of me reading, it really freed her. It really, really freed her up in a big way. So sometimes just knowing yourself, getting this work for yourself, helps you to free yourself from things that have held you in bondage for years. Like, you might be like, why can't I ever love? Like, what's wrong? Why can't I ever give my heart to somebody? Or why am I always in and out of all of these relationships? It could be because of certain things that's going on in your chart, and you're not managing them properly. Again, your chart, you are the master of your chart. But if you don't know what's going on in your chart, well, you can't master it. You know what I mean? So the magic of me natal chart reading puts you in the power seat. I put you in the power seat of your own life so you can create the life that you want. So head on over to TonyaPoole.com now. I don't know if somebody already got the first reading, but whoever gets there first and purchases the Magic of Me natal chart reading, you also get a copy of Sister Monier's book, Queen Me, absolutely free. I will pay for the shipping.
Yes.
I will send it out to you to make sure that you get that.
That's right.
Make sure you head on over there now, TonyaPoole.com.
Thank y'all. We love y'all so much. And like I said, be looking out for the text message tomorrow, because we will be going live. We have Moldavite in stock, plus a whole bunch of other exciting stones and crystals to bring to you all. We have a new space, new processes. We starting off our new year already. You're not waiting. We're not waiting in January to talk about new year, new me. No, we starting now. Okay? And we love y'all. We've been missing y'all tremendously. We talk about you all every day. We think about you all. CK's still been working on your orders and wrapping them the whole entire time while we've been restructuring our lives. So thank you all so much. Ooh, who is that? Lisa Muhammad.
Oh, that is
look
beautiful.
at that Herkimer diamond in there.
What's the Herkimer diamond?
Herkimer diamond is a highly programmable stone. It holds energy. So good programming, words that you speak. It's also good for dream recall. So if you're a dreamer, helping you to remember your dreams. So if you have Herkimer diamond like next to your bed, like before you even open your eyes to see any light, you can grab your Herkimer and it'll help you start going back through those dreams. But once you open those eyes, it's kind of like,
yeah.
But grab your Herkimer off the bedside table, put it in your hand, it'll help you do those dream recalls. Herkimer is also really good for those who have to be at a distance. So say your child went out to college, program it, give her the Herkimer, you keep one.
Oh, wow.
Keeps y'all bonded and connected in that way. And because also it has the power of course, so it's an amplifier. Anything you put it next to is going to amplify.
Wow. Oh, I love that.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
That is gorgeous.
Yes.
Lisa Muhammad.
She didn't.
Woo!
She don't need that. No.
I know. Give me on that. Who else is this? This is Lisa Muhammad too.
Oh, she buying big.
Okay.
She's getting those.
This is a hater blocker.
Oh, I love it. And look, my hater blocker that I got from you.
Look like it's in a womb. It's a keychain, so it's for her.
Oh,
Hater blocker keychain.
Oh man, how much y'all charge for this? Like
that's
a keychain.
15.
It depends on the stone, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna probably need. Let me think about.
Throw that on your keychain.
Yeah, I need
and
a
this
new
is
keychain,
her lapis lazuli pendant.
That's beautiful.
Speak your truth, throat chakra. I don't need this. I'll be talking way too much. I already be talking too much. And the natural citrine from Congo. Oh. This is all about cleansing and re-strengthening the aura, solar plexus, energy, career success, business, prosperity, finances.
Wow. Oh, I love that.
Citrine from the Congo. So yeah, she's got some goodies coming to her.
Hey, she's about to celebrate, do these holidays or Kwanzaa or whatever. Maybe just for her. I don't know, but
yes, she's about to get right.
Yeah,
What's up with this?
Man, I know y'all should have like a timer, a countdown timer for when y'all about to go live, because I know they can't wait.
This is some of Angel's.
Oh, is that labradorite?
Yes, he got a labradorite. Angel got a labradorite pendant. Oh,
labradorite helps me with my dreams. I dream almost every night anyway. But when I sleep with that under my pillow, it's like, psh.
Labradorite.
That's beautiful.
Labradorite ring.
Oh, man. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes. Okay, Angel, come through.
Can somebody put me on that
Christmas list?
On that Christmas list.
Put me on that Christmas list.
Can somebody put me on? Because y'all buying some nice stuff.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a crystal wrapped in copper tree.
Vibrations from vibrations.
We tried to make it rhyme, I just couldn't think of nothing at the time.
Look, ask and you shall receive. Y'all put me on your Christmas list.
Yes, put us on your Christmas list.
On your Christmas list, on your Kwanzaa list.
On your Kwanzaa list.
Hey, look.
Your Yom Kippur list.
Kwanzaa is supposed to be handmade gifts anyway.
Right.
This is by hand. Oh my God.
Right.
And that's 7 days. Oh yeah. Okay. So I want my Umoja gift. I want my Pootie Chagalia gift.
Yes.
All the 7 living principles.
She's
Yes.
also a part of the Greensboro Kwanzaa Collective,
Yes.
and this month is going to be at the Civil Rights Museum.
Yes, yes. So
Tell
this
us
is our first year doing Kwanzaa for only one day. We normally do it all 7 days, but we are celebrating Kwanzaa in the city of Greensboro, North Carolina at the International Civil Rights Center and Museum on Friday. I was about to say February. On Friday,
February.
December 28th, our African marketplace opens at 5:30. So the vendors will be open at 5:30. You can come and shop and buy. And then the program begins at 6 p.m. We will be honoring some amazing people in the community. We have African drumming, dancing. I mean, just, oh my gosh, it's live. It's live all the time. We have food. So I want to make sure that y'all come out and celebrate with us on February. Why do I keep saying February? Friday, December 28th for our Kwanzaa celebration at 6
Yes, so if you didn't check out my reading, you can go get your very own for $99.
Yes.
Go to TonyaPoole.com. The lovely Tonya Poole right here has been reading me and helping me get my whole life. If you don't really understand how it works, just review this video and you can understand a little bit, because she explained about the houses and their positions and how to look at the chart. So don't waste your time on the free things online, because then you're not going to get that personal touch.
Right.
Make sure you go to the sisters, support her, and sign up for $99. The first person to sign up gets my book, Queen Bee, free.
Absolutely free. And I pay the shipping to have it sent to you.
Right, and I'm going to autograph it.
Yeah. See? All right.
So you can steal my signature and put on some contracts.
I know. Look at it.
Y'all got that Pluto
energy
I
vampire, the
I
Pluto retrograde. Everybody out to get me.
Retrograde.
I love y'all. Thank y'all for watching.
Love
Thank
y'all so much. Thank you
All
for
right.
watching. As always, see y'all tomorrow.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace.